All right, moving on to the reports of board members. We're going to have another presentation of the Western Hills Water District sewer issues. So Chris is going to take control of our computers, and he's going to do one of his amazing presentations again to talk to us about the sewer of Diablo Grande. And I just want to let everybody know, there's been a lot of rumors going around on how the sewer works, and I'm hoping tonight that we'll be able to educate all of us in how the sewer system works, the contract with Patterson, and I'm really hoping this is going to help answer a lot of questions and put to rest a lot of rumors and a lot of bad information. So, with that, Chris, I hand it over to you, sir.
Thank you very much, Matt. Just so you board members know, feel free to interrupt me or chime in at any time. All right. How's that look for everyone?
Excellent.
Looks great.
Let me hit the present button. Okay. Right. So Western Hills Water District Sewer Service. We're going to talk a little bit about the agreement that we have with City of Patterson, and we're going to talk about rates, where they stand, and where they need to be, frankly. And hopefully have a little Q&A afterwards for everyone, including the public, so we can answer any of your questions that probably will come of this. So let's just get right into it. All right. So we, as in the Western Hills Water District, entered into a sewer agreement with the City of Patterson in 2002. That agreement was fully voluntary between the two entities, and if you read the agreement down at the very far end of it, you'll see that in fact Western Hills Water District subsidized a huge build out of obviously the pipelines from here to there, but also augmenting their treatment facility down there to handle the extra load. I always thought that was quite interesting because it's several $1 million. And probably put us in good standing, I imagine, at the time. The agreement was and is for 750,000 gallons per day of effluent, and that agreement was originally based on 2,000 homes, a hotel, 2 golf courses, some retail, excluding the wineries. Currently, as you probably remember from my last presentation, we have 595 homes here. So I just wanted to show you the section 1.01 of the agreement here, where that 750,000 gallons per day is mentioned specifically. And that again is based off of the approved plan, other than the proposed winery. Now the approved plan is not to be confused with the master plan. The master plan, the DG master plan, specific plan, I should say, was for 5,000 homes and is for 5,000 homes, but well, you get the idea. Moving on. Right. So per this agreement, the City of Patterson cannot actually charge us residents directly. The costs have to pass through the water district because the water district is who serves us. The agreement, stiflingly perhaps, specifies that we DG residents have to pay 150% of what residents of Patterson pay. And I'll just read here for you real quick. Although the city will not be providing sanitary sewer service to district ratepayers, because Western Hills will, the district's periodic calculation of the amount of the payments made by the district will be based on a multiple of the per unit sewer rate charged by the city to its ratepayers, so that city ratepayers will be assured that district ratepayers, that's us, will pay at least our fair share. You could take that however you like it, but the fact of the matter is the number they agreed upon, if you look at the second highlighted sentence there, is 150%. So whether or not that's fair, I'm not really sure. We'll talk about it a little bit more on the next slide. Why in the world would they do this? Well, we don't really know because we don't know the people who formed the agreement, and we don't know the people who possibly even still work at City of Patterson at this point who formed the agreement. But we could speculate a little bit. 20 years ago, Patterson was half the size that it is today. Mostly farmland and, you know, service industry, restaurants, that sort of thing, retail. DG, of course, was originally intended and presented as this affluent community of $1 million homes, you know, as a golf community, resorts, day spas, all of that good stuff, wineries. So we kind of figured that basically the whole fair share thing was sort of a, how much can we squeeze out of customers in this particular area? Can't say that I agree or disagree with that, frankly. I don't know. I probably would have done the same thing if I was on their side. But so let's talk real quick about the current water bill that we all receive. Everybody receives a water bill with a base rate for water. That base rate is what effectively funds the district to deliver the water from downstream, from down in the canal, up to the treatment plant, actually process and treat it, and then actually deliver it to our homes. That's $100.69. Then on top of that, there's a usage rate. So for every 750 gallons that you use at your home, it costs $1.49. Then there's a flat fee for a storm drain. That's pretty typical in my experience anyways, with all water bills that I've ever had. And then there's a sewer fee, the flat fee of $55.97, which we're all familiar with at this point, I'm sure. You can see these right on your bill. They should be line items in that particular bill. So what does the COP charge the district? Remember that the district is a pass-through for sewer money, effectively. Right now, they're charging the district, us, Western Hills Water District, $74.91 per household. Each month, that means that the Western Hills Water District is subsidizing $8.94 per household. And some of you may remember, some of you probably don't know, but back in 2017, there was a proposed rate increase that we'll look at in a moment, because the city of Patterson was coming upon their 5-year scheduled rate increase proposal that they always have. So every 5 years, typically they're looking at their rates and saying, okay, for the next several years, these are what the rates are going to be increasing to. The Prop 218 challenge in 2017 was successful, and the proposed rate changes that the city of Patterson wanted to pass on to Western Hills Water District meant that the water district was going to be responsible for the difference, because we as residents did not vote, or well, we basically did not allow for the utility rate increase. So again, let's talk about some more numbers real quick. I know this might look a little daunting, but I'll try to step through it pretty carefully. Given the $18.94 per month, that's $11,269 a month that the water district is effectively subsidizing for sewer service up here in DG. It's $135,000 a year. If we go back to look at all of the rate increases that the COP has passed on to the water district since 2017, since that Prop 218 defeat, it's a total of $383,772. And at the end of the presentation, which you'll all be able to view offline later, I've written out the formulas, which are very simple to come to that conclusion. The total monthly bill that the COP charges the water district typically is about $44,600 per month for us 595 homes. That's simple math. You can you can do the math there to come up with the $74 and change. So as you can imagine, subsidizing all of this money has contributed a great deal to our debt that we have with the COP. And as of the last bill that I saw, which is also available for you to view at the end of this presentation, as of December 2020, it's $535,000 and change that we owe them. A very important point here: lack of developer subsidy, lack of a performing developer in this community for years has created this debt. We would not be in this position otherwise. Now, that said, that would mean that the developer would be subsidizing the $18.94, just so that you know. So what about this Prop 218 challenge? Well, effectively, Prop 218 enables the people to challenge and eventually possibly reject any public utility rate increase that falls under the purview of Prop 218. I will leave that to you to research, because it's quite frankly pretty complicated and probably deserves its whole own other presentation. But like I said before, in June 2017, this mechanism was used, and it worked to defeat the increase that you can see down here in the table, which was scheduled to start on July 1st, 2017. It was going to go from $55.97 to $66 to $70 in July of 2018 to $75 in July of 2019. And again, I just want to reiterate, if this hadn't happened, then the district would have saved hundreds of thousands of dollars, the $383,772, since that time. So again, as you can see, as I alluded to on the previous slide here, this table indicates their scheduled rate increase, the city of Patterson's scheduled rate increase for sewer. And I don't know about you, but I kind of feel like if we were being direct billed by them, we would just pay it, right? Why would we ask our own district to subsidize that? So a little bit more about Prop 218. And as I also alluded to earlier on this, Prop 218 defeat, in other words, a success for the residents who brought the Prop 218 challenge, does not prevent Western Hills Water District from having to pay those rates. So effectively, it forced the district to subsidize that $18.94 per month per household. Unfortunately, you know, I completely understand that the reasons why this Prop 218 challenge came about was because, you know, the community was just beaten up. We didn't, you know, I was here in 2017, but I didn't know about this happening. And I also didn't know about World International at all. But as we know now, they were generally distrusted. And, you know, I can understand why, if they came asking for more money, nobody would want to give it to them. The reality is, though, that we cannot withstand another Prop 218 defeat, if you will, on this issue right now. Hate to be the bearer of bad news again, but the fact of the matter is that we need to pay as residents what the COP is charging the water district, and we need to start right away. So what does that mean? Well, it means that the district needs to increase the rate for sewage. The district needs to actually start charging us customers $74.91 a month. It also means that the district needs to maintain parity with those rate changes that the COP is going to be passing on in the future. You know, we can't just be willfully ignorant that's because that's going to happen. It's going to be $5 per month extra, you know, every year or two, probably. That's a very rough estimate, by the way. I have no idea what goes into their formulas and how they calculate that sort of stuff, but just like so many other things, just like your home insurance, just like any other thing, it typically goes up every year, right? At least in parity with inflation. Obviously, and it probably goes without saying, but I'll say it again, Western Hills cannot continue to subsidize this nearly $20 a month per household. We simply don't have the money. So what will this do? This will pay our sewer bills going forward, so we can at least be current with the city of Patterson. We'll still have this outstanding debt that needs to be taken care of, unfortunately, but at least we'll be on friendly paying terms with our sewage provider, which would be great. I'm sure we can all agree on that. What else could come in the future? Well, I mean, like I said, there's probably going to be another proposed scheduled rate increase. Typical pattern for them seems to be 2010, 2015, 2020. I don't think we heard anything last year yet, but it's undoubtedly coming down the pipe, no pun intended. Like I said, based on the schedule so far, it looks to be about $5 per month per household. Obviously, your new board and your basically brand new run district here will communicate that as far in advance as we possibly can. We don't want anybody to be caught off guard by that. It certainly won't just be dropped on your bill. And of course, it cannot be, because if we are going to abide by the law, which we do, then you have to have your chance to challenge that with Prop 218. So just to wrap it up real quick, we have to stop subsidizing the $135,000 a year. We, as in the district needs to start paying all forward bills to the city of Patterson 100%. We can't be making partial payments or falling behind anymore. We can't take another 218 defeat. That will certainly send us right off the rails. I don't really know what the solution would be after that. And another positive of this is if we do get current, at least going forward with the COP, you know, it's possible that the contract could be looked at again. You know, the table might be open for discussion, if you will, with the new board. And it's possible that we could see some sort of renegotiation, like I said, or some sort of perhaps debt repayment plan or something along those lines that would help us out. Anything would help us out, frankly, sitting on this 500,000 plus debt. Let's see here. I think we're at the end. Yes, this will be a pattern. I always want to thank you guys for listening to me ramble. I hope it's informative. You know, we really are trying to communicate as much as we possibly can, legally speaking, to everyone as soon as we can. That's why we're having so many meetings. That's why it's so important that you show up. That's why we've gone to the great lengths we have to make sure you can, you know, watch the meetings offline or be prepared to come to the meeting as soon as we can announce it. So again, I just want to say thanks. I know it's not it's not easy to hear this sort of stuff. It's hard for me to sit here and say it. But this is the situation we're in. We're in a situation where we've been underpaying for a lot of things for the district's health. You know what I mean? Some could call it underpayment, some could call it expensive. The fact is that we just aren't funding the district enough because the developer is not funding the district enough. So unfortunately, it looks like it's going to fall on us residents to have to actually do that if we want to continue to have viable lives up here. And I certainly do. As always, at the end, you'll find my email address. There's a couple links here with some census information to back up some numbers. The full agreement that we have with the city of Patterson, the most recent bill, which will show you exactly where we stand. And then, of course, the final slide is the formula for how to calculate those yearly rate increases that the district has been subsidizing to arrive at our total 383 number. Board members, any input or questions?
Yeah, so I want to say a couple things. We can lose the slides show.
Sure.
I'll just get back to where I can see. I see Mr. Stockmall. I see your hand up, and we'll get to you in just a moment. So I just want you to know, if you've been noticing on our agendas, we've been having long closed sessions. There's a lot going on legally that we're just not privy to tell you because we don't want our strategy to be out there. But I can assure you, we're doing a lot behind the scenes. And I know one question would be, why aren't we renegotiating? It's happening. We're going to begin a process. And regarding the sewer, I do believe that we can change some things. And so I just want to let you know that there will be some negotiations happening. I will be involved in those. Julie Davis will be involved in those. And we're going to be working on your behalf, our behalf. We live here too. When I see the 150%, my head wants to explode. I too, 20 years ago, when this place was going to be $1 million homes and day spas and resorts and wineries and all sorts of stuff, I could see a small town saying 150%, that's your fair share. But that's not the reality right now. The reality is we're not in $1 million homes. We'd like to be. And there's still a possibility, if we save this water district, of getting our home values back up to there. But we need to go down and we need to talk, and we're planning on it. And I just want you to know that. And I believe that we're going to be able to work something out. But it doesn't change the fact that negotiations take time. And a negotiation with City of Patterson and working out deals and working out things could take 4, 5, 6 months. It's not something that just happens overnight. You don't just walk down there, sit down and say, all right, let's do another deal, and boom, it's done. It just doesn't work that way. And so to that point, rates are going to have to go up, and we're going to have to pay the rates because we don't have a developer paying. Angels Crossing is not paying. World International stopped paying a year and a half ago. And if we're going to save our homes, and if we're going to save our home value, we have to have water coming to our homes. And we have to have sewer being able to go down to the City of Patterson. And we want to save our homes. We want to save our home values. And this is going to be an investment on all of our parts. I love this community. I love living here. I love seeing the deer running around. I love seeing all of it. If I were to sell my house right now, where would I go? If I bought this house that I live in Tracy Hills next to a freeway, I'd be paying $800,000. You have to put everything in perspective and look at where you're living and the beauty of where we're living, and then ask yourselves, do you want to invest in that and invest in our homes and how we live and where we live? And we don't have, I'm waiting for the rate study. I hope to have it by the end of the week. I've been working with our consultants all week. And I'm hoping to get these numbers so I even know a little bit more of where we're at. But if you have to, once we have the real numbers, because I'm not going to throw out a fake number or an expectation number, but when you look at what rates we're going to be paying, if you look at it and say, oh my gosh, I have to pay a water bill of this gargantuan amount for water, this is ridiculous. You're looking at it from my point of view, it's the wrong way to look at it. It's looking at it as we're pumping water up 1,000 feet through 3 pumping stations, and we're getting it treated, and we're getting it to our homes, and it costs. We don't live in the city of Patterson, and we don't live in the city of Tracy, and we don't live in San Francisco. We live on a mountain 1,000 feet in the air. And so there are costs that we have to pay. And, Chris and has now twice put presentations together with facts. These are not, our opinions. These are factual numbers. And so I'm just yes, Julie.
I'd like to say
Hello?
something. Hi, can you hear me? Hi there.
Yeah.
So I was here and I did agree to vote down that sewer increase for the Prop 218. I do not believe that the developer or even the developer at the time should be subsidizing that. That was not the intent of the residents, at least that I know, that signed the Prop 218 to vote down that sewer. The point of it is based on the research that the residents had in their hands at the time from the city of Patterson, specific to the fair share. It was research and several phone calls were made to the city to find out what exactly were we paying for that exceeded the actual cost of service for sewer. We paid with our Mello-Roos bond. We funded that expansion down in the city of Patterson. So we pay taxes for the expansion plant down there. We own the pipeline going down the hill, and I believe Jerry could probably speak to what happens. That the city, I do not believe, comes up here to ship the sewage down the hill or work on that pipeline. So once it hits their pipes, the question was, what extra, what are we paying for? And apparently it's just because there was a contract that was made that said we'll pay 150%. But in the rate study for the sewer at the city of Patterson, people can take a look at that. There's nothing in there that shows the actual, fair, where's the money going? So that was the question. If people have questions to it, they can certainly check with the city of Patterson if they want, and maybe they can find out some information as why are we being charged?
And this is why,
even if it's in the contract.
Right. And this is why you and I are going to be talking to the city and trying to renegotiate that contract. That's exactly the reason.
Yeah. So,
because we
so
need to find out why,
and
we're right.
Yeah, I'm not on,
Go ahead.
the presentation is great, but I'm not, as a board member and a citizen up here, I'm not yet on board with, I feel that we're already, and obviously we owe them money because of the subsidy, but I don't feel that World or anybody should be subsidizing our sewer based on that. I felt that needed to be looked at and possibly renegotiated based on, we all went through the crash of 2008, the whole development, everything that happened. And so, hopefully the city of Patterson would want to work with us on this because, it's not something that
And I agree with you 100%, and that's why we're going to be talking to them and trying to renegotiate. The fact of the matter is the contract is the contract as it is written currently. And until we can get out of that contract, we are in a legal binding contract. And I'm not going to be a hypocrite and say, Angels Crossing, you're in a contract and you agreed to pay your subsidy and you agreed to pay this, that, and the other thing, and be like them that say, well, we don't like it and we don't want to, and we're not going to pay it. We have to pay our bills. We have to, because we're in a contract. We can negotiate, and we're going to. Julie and I are going, and we are going to make a promise to you that we are going to try everything we can to renegotiate that contract. I do believe, as Julie just stated, there's a lot of ambiguous comments, that's a lot of ambiguity that's just, I think we have a really good chance of really changing this. However, if we do not start paying what the contract tells us we have to pay, the subsidy is falling on the district, the debt is going up. And we cannot just tell the city of Patterson, void those charges because we say that your contract is stupid. That's what Angels Crossing is doing to us right now. It doesn't work that way. I'm sorry, that's what they're doing. We don't like these charges, so we're just not going to pay it. I will not do that. I don't like it that they're doing that, and we as a water district are not going to do that. Are we going to bust our butts and try to change? Yes. We will do everything we can to try to change the contract. I'll even try to negotiate that debt to come down. Sure, we can do anything we want. We don't know what the answer is going to be. They could tell us to go pound bricks. The point is, we're going to go there with, please help us, and let's make a good contract. We're going to do that. And I want the community to know that we're going to do that. But the bottom line is we're in a contract, And we should be abiding by that contract, just as Angels Crossing should be abiding by the contract that they agreed to when they took over ownership from World International. And they're not. Well, I'm not going to be the same kind of hypocrite that says, well, it's not right for them, but hey, community, we shouldn't do it either. I mean, come on. It's one of those hypocrisy things that I can't stand. We need to do the right thing, and we need to start paying our bills. And I hope that the community will understand that none of us agree with the sewer charge. We don't agree with 150% of what Patterson's paying. Oh my gosh, that's just insane. It doesn't even make sense. And they are not able to provide us data that even rightfully explains it. So while we're processing through the change, and while we're doing everything we can to change that contract, and as we're working with the city of Patterson in good faith to try to make those changes that work best for the community, we don't want to keep getting further and further in the hole. And we really need to turn this ship around and start at least coming currently. And if we can do that, I think we're going to be in a better negotiated place too. So if we can start at least paying our current bill, as we keep asking Angels Crossing to do, if we start paying our current bill, then we are going to look much, much better to the city of Patterson to negotiate with us and work with us. And so I agree with Julie 100% that we need to try to get the debt maybe reworked. Maybe we'll be able to do that. We're going to go for everything that we can, and we're going to try really hard. But we have to do moving forward also. We have to look at the reality that we're in a contract right now. As bad as the contract is, we still have to look at it because it's a contract.
I fully
So I
agree.
hope everybody understands that. We have to do it. We can't keep this up.
Yeah.
In saying all of that, we're going to now take questions. And Steve, your hand has been raised so long, even though it's virtual, it must be almost broken. You're probably
Steve's good and patient.
Please answer
Wrap it
me.
up.
So Steve, let's go. Let's unmute Steve Stockmel and let him ask his question.
He's good to go.
Thanks.
All right, Steve.
Appreciate it. Luckily, I didn't have my hand up because, yeah, it would have been kind of tired. Chris, I'm not that patient, but I'm trying. Okay, so I have a comment and then I have a question. So the comment is, I guess maybe it's two comments. So thanks, guys, again for everything, pointing this out for us. So you're pretty much saying, Matt, that the $75 that is being charged right now is the 150% of what Patterson's city folks are paying, correct?
I believe Patterson's rates right now are somewhere right at $49 range a month. And
Okay,
then
so
they
yeah.
do 150% times that,
Yep.
and we pay.
Yep,
the
so
50 or
that's
the
pretty much right
79 or
there.
whatever.
Gotcha. So we have to go
Yes, sir.
from 55 of what we're paying now to 75. That's $20 a month. If that gets us paying the bills current from this point on, I would hope that everyone would realize that that's less than a Starbucks a day to pay that extra money for the purpose of our community. So that issue is really a moot point as long as the rate negotiation is going to happen, which it already sounds like it's going to. So that's
It has been approved for us to do that, yes.
Yeah, hopefully everyone would agree with me. If not, well, that's your prerogative. The question I have is for the foreclosure proceedings against Angels Crossing and World International, that is for non-payment of what specifically?
It's for non-payment of their Mello-Roos bond. The taxes we all pay on our home when we pay the county,
Correct.
it includes the Mello-Roos bond, which specifically was to pay for the infrastructure and the water district up here. So they're not paying any of those taxes. The bondholders aren't getting paid. And under the bond agreement, if the project is more than 5% delinquent, we do have an agreement that we're supposed to foreclose and move the land so that it can get paid. And I think twofold that meets that obligation. And secondly, hopefully it would bring a developer in or resolve this issue, or so we can have more homes built and proceed with the development.
Well, yeah, I mean, and obviously, you know, for those of us that want to eventually focus on paying off our own Mello-Roos, I am not going to do that until the rest of this is straightened out, because, you know, make sure that I'm paying the least possible. And if I'm got a subsidy against something more than, you know, I don't want to pay that.
Yeah, because if you go to pay your bond off right now, it's increased from what it was, you know, 3-4 years ago, because the reserve fund is depleted and it has been used to pay the bondholders for those delinquencies.
Yep.
So you're really not saving any money. Now, if the foreclosure happens and things get paid up and it gets replenished, then that will change the calculation. And again, you can go, you know, then if you want to pay your bond off, you can be in a much better position where you're actually paying it off for, you know, half or less of what you would pay if you kept it for the remaining term. So it is affecting the residents in a very negative manner here.
Yeah, for sure. And if it's going to force the hand of contractual obligations, then so be it. So, okay, thank you.
Yeah, exactly.